All right. Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining the March meeting of ANC 1C. My name is Amir Irani. I'm chair of ANC 1C. I'd like to start up with an introduction of my fellow commissioners, starting with 1C08 and on down numerically.
Hi, everyone. My name is Fiona Clem. I'm Commissioner for 1C08, and that's in the southeast corner of Adams Morgan.
Hello, my name is Japer Bowles, he, him, his. I am the Commissioner for ANC 1C07, which is the west part of the Reed Cook neighborhood, essentially the eastern side of 18th Street.
Hello, I'm Ben Boots, 1C06. My area is from 16th Street east, kind of hitting up with Japers, and then going up just a little past Columbia.
Good evening, I'm Zach Gold, Commissioner for 1C05. That's the northeast corner of Adams Morgan, at Columbia Road at 16th Street, and Harvard Street is our north boundary.
I'm Megan Faulkner. I'm the Commissioner for 1C04, which is the northwest corner of Adams Morgan, the area surrounding Walter Pierce Park.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Peter Wood, I'm right in the middle, 1C03, 18th to 19th, Biltmore, Wyoming.
Hi, I'm Celeste Carano, and I support 1C02, the southwest corner between Connecticut and Calvert.
Thank you, commissioners, and I'm Amir Irani, as I'd mentioned, and I represent 1C01. That's the southwest corner of ANC 1C. So moving on to chair's report, I have just a couple things I'd like to talk about. First, if you're experiencing a hardship with your utility bills, then please contact the Office of the People's Council. Their website is opc-dc.gov. On the vaccine front, we have a couple of big news. So starting next week, DC will have a pre-registration system where users can pre-register online or by phone and then be contacted by email, phone, text when it's their turn to sign up for vaccine appointments. One thing to note is that the same priority system is still going to be in place. It's just that you'll also be contacted based on your priority group and zip code, in addition to when you signed up for the pre-registration system. And that starts next week. So this week, the appointments that are available tomorrow, Thursday, that is, and Friday, there will be slight improvements. There will be an additional a waiting room that will allow for 3,000 users to access the vaccine questionnaire at a time, and the CAPTCHA will also be removed from the vaccine questionnaire. There will be, as I said, there will be more appointments released tomorrow and Friday at 9 a.m. Please visit coronavirus.dc.gov/vaccinatedc for more info. And just to be clear, in case I didn't say this earlier, the pre-registration system is for everyone. So, you'll be able to register regardless of what phase you may think you're in. So that's that. Moving on to Secretary report, Secretary Clem.
Thank you, Chair. I don't have much to report. I just, as many of you on the call know, I've been sending out announcements for the meetings and information about past meetings on the Adams Morgan IO listserv. And I've started to share the updates on Twitter. So if there's another venue that would that you'd like me to share it on, let me know. But I hope you're finding those reports helpful and feel free to send me feedback, and I will put my email in the chat. Thank you.
Thank you, Secretary Clem. Treasurer Faulkner.
Yes, just an update on our bank account, which currently stands at $21,486.91. No major changes to report this month other than some normal tax payments and things. And I just wanted to mention, I've informed the commissioners already, but that the $4 service fee that we're being charged by the bank that I believe Commissioner Clem had asked about is because our statements include images of the checks, which is part of our compliance with the, I believe it's the CFO's office that requests that. So that is why we are being charged a $4 service fee, because that is an extra service. So just wanted to close the loop on that, but that is all I have.
Great. Great. Thank you, Treasurer Faulkner. So moving on to commissioner announcements, we'll start at 1C08 and go down numerically. And if you are the chair of your committee, please do announce the committee agenda.
Thank you, Chair. I had a constituent ask me about PEPCO. So I had a couple of conversations with our customer service rep over at PEPCO. I have invited him to speak at the April 7th ANC meeting to give updates on the, there will be some construction this year, and then there will be a renovation starting in 2023, and he will give updates on both of those. The big issue is the construction along Florida Avenue that will be later on, that will start later on this year. In the meantime, this month, I have asked for a walkthrough of the PEPCO facility. Or it's really just the outside of it. It's just a little substation, but it is interesting, and it's been around since 1909, and it has some walls built by a famous architect, and they're under preservation status. But there's also constituency issues with the noise, and so we'll walk through the facility. I mean, we'll walk around the facility with some PEPCO representatives. It'll either be on Friday the 19th or Friday the 26th. We don't have a confirmed date, but please email me if you would like to be in the group that will be on this tour. We'll have 2 groups starting probably at 12 or 12:30 on either one of those Fridays. If you email me, I will put you on the confirmation list, and we can coordinate the schedule at that point. And then lastly, I just want to share with you that the Sitar Center is holding their winter 2021 virtual student showcase on Friday, March 12th from 6:30 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. And I will post a link to that if you're interested in the chat. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner.
Yes. Okay. So for the ABC meeting next Wednesday, the only thing we have on the agenda is a police report. So I'm confirming that, and then I will give a brief update on air. There's no settlement agreement. Just want to let folks know where we are in the process, and I'll have more details for commissioners before then. In terms of personal announcements, so it is 311 month. So DC 311, please, I am taking it on myself as a personal challenge to get as many 311 requests in, but in addition to getting those requests, following up with the service numbers, adding them to an Excel sheet, and following up with these people. So if there's any folks that are in my single member district or just want me to track your 311 requests, do so. You can, if you do it on Twitter, tag me and I'll add it to my list. If you are, which is the easiest way to do it, I highly suggest if you're on Twitter to do it via Twitter. And if you are just doing a regular 311 request via email, just forward me the email response and I'll add the number to my chart. So I will say before doing the request, then my part of the neighborhood, everything looked really good. I don't know if they were like, hey, we're going to do this request thing, but only right after we clean the entire city. So, but I do want to say kudos to that team and to all the departments that want to know truly like what's out there. So I hope that there's other commissioners that will partner with them to see what needs to be fixed. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Commissioner Bowles. Commissioner Boots.
Hi. Actually, the two things I want to talk about have already been covered. So 311 month and the vaccines. So I will keep mine short, but also just want to make sure that anyone in my single member district, the virtual door is still always open. So feel free to reach out and connect.
Fantastic. Commissioner Gold.
So Secretary Clem's comments on posting ANC items reminded me that I walked by an ANC bulletin board in Commissioner Bowles's district near Phil's Coffee. And I don't know if that's a legacy of some long lost time, and no reason to tell historical tales now, but if that's something that we want to, if there's a good historical tale, I'm always happy to hear it. But if there are, that's something that we should think about as existing, at least as put a historical marker on it. You've probably noticed that DDOT began excavations on 16th Street at Columbia Road and Harvard Street Northwest. This is related to the 16th Street bus lanes. There's pedestrian channelizers and detours, as well as some traffic barriers. And this will allow for excavation to take place at the roadway medians. The work is expected through March 13th. As we'll discuss later in this meeting, WMATA, the Metro and Bus, has presented its FY22 budget and operations plan and has formally opened its public comment period. In addition to this ANC's voice, I encourage all residents to share your thoughts on the proposals before the public comment period closes, that closes on March 16th. Here is a link to the budget itself. There's a consolidation of routes through our neighborhood, and that's something to think about. To comment, you can start with this comment page here. Hold on, let me get this set. Cool. This month, Planning, Zoning, and Transportation Committee. The next PZT committee meeting will take place on Wednesday, the 17th at 7 p.m. Check our website for updates to the agenda and for how to access the meeting. We just put 2 items on the agenda, sure to get your attention. The first one is a discussion of Councilmember Nadeau's proposed future land use map amendments to the comprehensive plan. And second, we're going to renew a discussion about potential tree plantings at the northeast corner of Columbia Road and 18th and Adams Mill, known as BB&T Plaza. That's all I have. Thank you.
Those are some good updates, Commissioner Gold, and we'll be there for the PZT meeting for those discussion points. And to talk about that little bulletin board, there are 2 of them that I know of. One over by Adams Mill and the other one by Calorama and Champlain. Those are well before my time. In the 4 years and some odd months I've been on the ANC, we've never posted anything on there. So who knows? It's like a fossil. Moving on to Commissioner Faulkner.
Yes, I was also going to share about the WMATA budget process. So definitely encourage folks to fill out the survey. Thanks for sharing that link. And that is all I have.
Great, thanks. Commissioner Wood.
So yeah, I have a few things. but I won't be too long. So first, yeah, just because we're talking about those boards, there's also one in Calorama Park at the northeast corner. It has been used occasionally, but we can talk about that when it makes more sense. So first, we had a neighborhood talk about housing. I can't even remember time anymore, but at some point in the last few weeks, and it went really well. It's often, a super hostile topic, but it was really informative and pretty peaceful. And it was really nice to see the community come together for that. I'm hoping to organize more similarly formatted, but differently thematic events in the future as that comes together, I'll say so. And also it was fun to be a judge for the BIDS Valentine's Day contest. So if you haven't seen the results, Copacabana won. And then looking forward, there is, let's see. Oh yeah, so it's mostly over, but the oversight process is going on. If you like, constituents, people, residents can talk about things that they approve and disapprove in different agencies, or push us commissioners should do so. I have myself already. Some other commissioners have or are planning to. I spoke actually, I think 2 days ago, advocating for enhanced support for survivors of domestic violence. But there's all kinds of topics still left. And then also, yeah, the 311 on 311 is the event that they're trying to get more Twitter action. So just following up on what Japer said, I have a similar sheet. So if you see or make 311 calls, please do send them to me. Twitter definitely is the easiest. And I think that even the DC government says that they prefer Twitter at this point because it's so well used. So yeah, it's definitely important to do more than just send out the paperwork. It's our job to follow through on it, fortunately and unfortunately. And also the 20th, we have a cleanup that's at Unity Park. So come clean, it's good, meet people, we'll have fun.
Thank you, Commissioner Wood. Commissioner Carano?
Yeah, I think everyone covered most of it. I'll just say the grant applications are still open right now. We haven't received too many, so if you're thinking about submitting one, please reach out. Happy to have a conversation about it in advance or further explain the grants policy or process. Last PSC meeting, there was also a presentation from Murals DC, who are taking applications from property owners who want to have murals put on their buildings, and also from artists who are interested in making the murals. If you're an artist, now is a great time to get in touch with them. Happy to share more information on that if there's anyone interested. And our next PSC meeting, which will be the 31st, we'll be considering any of the grant applications that we received.
Okay, so thank you, Commissioner Carano. Is our next PSC meeting on the 31st or the 24th?
I'm assuming it's the 31st because it's the last Wednesday, but is it the 24th?
It is the 24th.
It is the 24th. Okay, thanks for the correction.
Sure. And actually, that brings up a good point. So I don't think I heard from ABC meeting. Just to give a quick summary about the meeting days and times, that's going to be on the 10th at 7 p.m. Check out anc1c.org for meeting access details. PZT is 17th, 7 p.m. Check out anc1c.org. And as you heard from Commissioner Carano, that's 24th. And for some predictability, we have this already thought through. Our meetings take place on Wednesdays. They're at 7 p.m. The full ANC meeting is the first Wednesday of every month. ABC is the second Wednesday. PZT is the third Wednesday. And PSC is the fourth Wednesday. Happens to be that March has a fifth Wednesday, which is a confusion, but we're off on that Wednesday. So happy hour time. I don't know. All right. So back to the meeting agenda. Let's go to public announcements. So I'd like to start with Ali Bovak from Councilmember Nadeau's office.
Hi, I'm sharing my video. I'm so excited. I asked for special permission because I feel like we've all been working from home for basically a year now. So some of you all maybe haven't seen my face. So I just wanted to bring it out there. I hope you enjoy. So my name is Ali Bovak. I'm the Deputy Director for Constituent Services for Councilmember Nadeau. For those that are listening, my direct number is 202-531-5186. And I'm going to bring us some updates from the office. It's been very, very busy, and it sounds like all the commissioners have been very busy as well. Thank you, commissioners, for the vaccine updates. And I do want to mention, tomorrow, Chairman Gray is going to be holding a hearing with the Department of Health, both his regular oversight hearing he'll be having this year, as well as a special hearing on some of the vaccine issues that we've seen, distribution, and just general response to the virus. So Councilmember Nadeau will be in attendance, so definitely recommend that people tune in. Some of you all might have had some issues with your unemployment insurance about a week ago. In case you didn't hear, there was a glitch in the system. It should have all been resolved, but if anybody is still having issues accessing their unemployment insurance benefits, please feel free to reach out to me and I will post my contact information as well. Did want to highlight that following the council's effort to create and fund the district's first gun violence prevention director, Mayor Bowser appointed Linda Harley Harper to fill the position. So we're really excited about this. It was something that the DC chapter of Moms Demand Action advocated for, and also Councilmember Allen, chair of the Committee on Judiciary and Public Safety, to kind of pass legislation to make that go through. And we're also quite excited that the mayor announced a new program called Building Blocks, which is a continuation of just looking at public safety from a public health perspective. So it's something that Councilmember Nadeau has been really adamant about, and something that we just have to keep pushing. And on that note, tomorrow is also going to be the oversight hearing for the Office of Neighborhood and Safety and Engagement, which oversees the Pathways Program, the Violence Interruption Program, and MPD will be next week on March 11th. So just some public safety oversight hearings that might be of interest. And of course, I will also post my contact. I will post oversight hearing calendar, which are wrapping up, but we've been really busy. We were in a 12-hour oversight hearing for the Department of Human Services last week with Councilmember Nadeau. And I did want to also mention that DPW has finished their leaf and holiday tree collection. So if you still have leaves in front of your house or Christmas trees, feel free to send them to me. I'm going to compile a list. Or you should also 311 them for the challenge, but you can also send them to me. As we all know, sometimes you need to go at it from both sides. So happy to do that. Again, really nice to see you all. And of course, here for any questions that commissioners or the public might have.
Thank you, Ali. Questions from commissioners?
Chair, can I just ask a quick question?
Please do.
Ali, thank you so much. Speaking of DPW, I was wondering if we could get an update on street sweeping. I recognize that street sweeping has been canceled for 11 months now, and I understand the reasoning behind it originally. Now people are moving their cars more often, and the streets in our neighborhoods are really piling up with glass and other debris. I was wondering if you have any update on that, or if you have recommendations for us to really push DPW to resume their duties. Thank you.
Yeah, so the council member will be, there's an interim director of DPW right now, and we do have a pending meeting. So I'm happy to bring, put that as part of the agenda. And I often, as much as you all, defer to our MOKers for the DPW updates, but definitely happy to ask the council member to bring that up in her meeting with the interim director.
I appreciate that. I spoke to our MOKer last month, who said that they weren't even doing street sweeping, let alone cleaning. So they weren't doing any sort of pickup until at least the end of February. So I haven't gotten an update on if they've resumed that. But right now it's almost 311 day, and anytime you put a 311 request for street sweeping or street cleaning, DPW just closes it because they're not even doing it. So that's something for, if the council member could bring it up in her meeting, that would be helpful. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Commissioner Gold. Other questions for Allie? Allie, it was great to see you.
Bye. Thank you.
Okay, going back to public announcements. Nick, go right ahead.
Hello, everyone. This is Nick with the Reed Cook Neighborhood Association. I just wanted to say that the Mayor's Office of the Clean City Spring Cleanup is March 20th. So we're having a neighborhood-wide cleanup, meet up at Unity Park at 10 a.m. We'll be giving out trash bags and gloves for everyone. And then additionally, I also have one more announcement. Just as a reminder, we are still having our COVID-19 relief fund. If anyone in the neighborhood has lost their job due to the public health crisis and is unable to access unemployment benefits, please visit our website, or if you know anyone, direct them to our website, www.reedcook-dc.org. Thank you.
Thanks, Nick. And thank you for the good work with the COVID Relief Fund, among other projects. Kristen.
All right. Hi, everyone. How are you? It's almost spring, so yay. I think we are all almost done with winter, which is, I think we're all ready for that this year. So a few updates from the bid. We are excited by the response to the date nights campaign that we've been running. We've gotten a lot of interest in it, which is terrific. And we are doing weekly drawings of people who sign up every Friday. So if you haven't signed up yet to win one of the prize packages, please do. We don't sell email addresses ever or give them out to anybody. We just use it to communicate our programming. So, so we've given away 2 of the date nights packages, and we have 3 left, I think. I think there's a total of 5 or 6 weeks. We also, I think you've probably all seen the love letters to Adams Morgan on the kiosk bulletin board. It's been a lot of fun. We've been taking pictures of the entries on there periodically, and then cleaning it off so that more people have an opportunity to use it. So, and the Library of Congress actually really loves these kinds of things that we do. So the pictures that we take of the writings on the kiosk, we're sending to the Library of Congress. So there's someone in the neighborhood who works there, and so she loves this kind of stuff. So that's really cool. And for the for the Library of Congress archives, we have our annual meeting coming up on Tuesday, and we are doing a couple of video presentations that will be really fun, I think. One of them is we're doing an interview with Fleet Feet, looking back at the last 15 years. The bid has been around for 15 years, so we wanted to kind of do a retrospective of one of the businesses that's been here a long time. So we're going to be interviewing both Jan and Phil Fenty, and then Sean and Kimberly, his wife. So kind of, first generation, second generation business owners. So that should be really cool. And we'll have these videos up on our website after Tuesday also. A little bit about our spring events coming up. The Cherry Blossom Festival is still proceeding ahead with some in-person and some virtual events. You'll be seeing some things happening around the neighborhood. As the commissioners know, we are getting one of these cherry blossom sculptures in BB&T Plaza that should be installed the week of the 13th, and it will be here till early May. So thank you for your support of that. There are 25 of these sculptures that are going around the city, and we're getting one of them. I tried to get a couple of them so that people could sort of sit in them, in a socially distant way. And they said, no, each neighborhood can only get one. So, but that's great that they're going to be putting one there. We're hopeful to do Ad Mobile again this spring. We're going to be looking for sponsors for that pretty soon. For those of you that remember last fall, Joe from Songbird has this really cool vintage truck. And so we hired some local musicians, and he would drive around with the musicians in the back and stop and play throughout the neighborhood for a couple hours on a Saturday evening, kind of to help, serenade people that were sitting and eating and drinking at the streetery and at other parklets. So it was really popular, and Joe's willing to do it again. So we're hopeful to do that again a few Saturdays this spring before it gets too hot. And also depending on Joe's schedule, since it's his truck. We're trying to do some more coordinated outdoor fitness classes with all of the fitness providers in Adams Morgan. And Embrace Yoga is interested in doing outdoor yoga, possibly in BB&T Plaza. So we're gonna try to get that together, and we'll let the ANC know when that could happen. It would probably be like a 6-week series, once a week, and you would sign up through Embrace Yoga, but they would do it in the park. And we think that that's a great opportunity to exercise outside. We're also working on doing an outdoor book festival this spring with an organization called Turning the Page. And we don't have dates or details yet, but stay tuned. That could also be a lot of fun. And we are hopefully going to be working with the hotel on doing some socially distanced story time in Unity Park. They used to do a drag queen story hour, I think once a month inside the hotel in the community center. And we're hopeful to maybe kind of bring that outside and do it in the park, about once a month. And people would need to sign up ahead of time so that, people can space out appropriately. And we're beginning to think about movie nights. It probably will not be in May and June this year because the mayor just extended the health emergency till May 20th. So we're hopeful that maybe it might be an August, September thing, or September, October. We're still kind of, waiting to see how the COVID numbers go and when things might open up. So, but we're hopeful that we'll be able to do it this year at some point, because last year we weren't able to do it at all. So that was a disappointment to lots of people I know. So I think that's it. I'm happy to take any questions if people have questions. Thanks.
Thanks, Kristen. I appreciate that. Questions from commissioners? Okay. Hearing none, I'll keep going.
Really quickly, just Kristen, you said in the last point there weren't, maybe I'm just misremembering, but I remember one movie being shown in Calorama Park. Was that something else? Just out of curiosity.
Oh yeah, that was a one-time thing we did for Halloween because we had an extra night that we'd paid the movie production company for. So that was a special one-time thing.
I just bring it up because people liked it.
Oh, yeah, I know. Unfortunately, that it was end of October and the weather was lousy, so we didn't get a great turnout. Marie Reed Field works better for outdoor movies just because of the built-in bleachers, and there's a lot of room. And we're hopeful that the city will let us do it because I think we can, appropriately spread people out. So, yeah. So fingers crossed.
Thanks.
Great. There's a number ending in 264. So phone number you're dialing in ending in 264, go right ahead.
*6 allows you to unmute yourself.
Thank you, Gordon. So let's swing back around to, oh, there we go.
Good afternoon. Hello?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, I'm Sylvia from DC Office of the People's Council. I'm the Consumer Outreach Specialist, Hispanic Coordinator, and I'm assigned to Ward 1 ANCs and their constituents. Indeed, as Chair stated, the Office of the People's Council can assist consumers that have challenges in paying their utilities, whether it's electric, natural gas, water, and their landline services. If they do have issues with their disconnection, service complaints, scams, and annoying marketing, third-party suppliers, utility bills, payment arrangements, they can call the Office of the People's Council. We do represent consumers, as I stated, with electric, natural gas, water, landline, telephone services. They have placed a moratorium on disconnections. Nevertheless, we are urging consumers to please call the office in order to make payment arrangements, because we're not sure when the moratorium might be lifted, and then consumers might have problems paying their bills. So it's very wise, if you can afford it, please do call us, or you can call us as well for resources in helping you paying your bill. Also, if you have issues with DC water, please call the office, because we do have a division that deals with water issues. So I'm not sure if the commissioners have any questions for me or members of the audience.
Doesn't seem like there are any questions for you, Sylvia. I do appreciate you coming and the good work that the Office of the People's Council does.
And I would put my information in the chat. So if in the future you need any questions or concerns regarding utility matters, please do not hesitate to contact me.
Perfect. Thank you, Sylvia.
Thanks to you for having me.
Of course. Okay, so KJ, go right ahead.
Hey, thanks. This is KJ Hughes. I'm a property owner at the corner of Florida and 18th Street, 1806 Vernon Street, Northwest. Wanted to update commissioners and the public on the process, or on the settlement agreement process that's been going on between myself and the protestants, including the ANC. A couple of emails were exchanged after the protestants attended a virtual tour, and no proposal has been agreed to yet. I wanted the commissioners to be aware, because this has been going on since the last administration, so you guys are newly voted on, and you guys haven't weighed in on this particular settlement agreement or this particular issue. So I would like to, have you guys aware of all of the many things that have gone on in relation to this protest. And quite frankly, we had a public hearing, the public safety hearing a couple of weeks ago, and Mr. Bowles was, there was some comments made to Mr. Bowles, and I want to commend Mr. Bowles for one, taking the tour, and doing his research in trying to find a fair and equitable solution. I would like to further point out that Commissioner Ronnie, you have lacked leadership in this particular situation. You have stood by the sidelines, and you have not done or said anything, quite honestly. You are my single member district commissioner, and this has been going on for 14 months. You have signed on to legal actions on behalf of this board without any public transparency or votes. I'm not sure if that's,
Okay, KJ, this is a public announcement period. You have up to 2 minutes per person. I have been very engaged in the process. I have attended, and this was an official action by the ANC. You may attend the upcoming. You may
I'm not
attend
sure
the
if my
meeting where
2
this
minutes
is
are up.
on the
I'm not sure if my
agenda,
2 minutes are up.
and your 2 minutes have expired. Thank you, KJ.
I just want to thank KJ for coming and sharing, because I know it's hard to do that. I appreciate it. And I'm excited for the new ANC to be proactive.
Commissioner Wood, that is out of order. So moving on to the consent agenda.
Hey, Amir, we have, I'm sorry, we have Sammy Nesbitt. I don't think that they had spoken yet.
Oh, all right. Thank you for pointing that out. Sammy, go right ahead.
Hi, I can't share my video, but my name is Sammy Nesbitt. I am the CEO of Momentum Health Development. I actually am new to the neighborhood. We are a small startup nonprofit that has been around for 4 years, and we have just established our presence here in Adams Morgan. I am here if anyone has any questions, but I kind of want to say one thing about involvement with the community. I think it is extremely important that our community is involved into these ANC meetings. I know I am privileged to be able to join through Zoom, but I was wondering in the future, are we planning to have in-person meetings? And if so, what will be the outreach for our community members who may not have the privilege of being on these ANC calls via Zoom? And I just wanted to say thank you for the opportunity to have a public question.
Thank you, Sammy. Okay, seeing no other hands up, let's move to the consent agenda. So we have 2 items on our consent agenda. We're approving the minutes for February 2021, that's last month. And there's a resolution authorizing the renewal of ANC1C domain, that's anc1c.org. Last year, this came up, our domain expired. It took, a little bit of effort to track down who actually owned the domain. It turned out that it was a developer from years prior, and we ended up solving it, and I got it transferred, and I paid for it out of my pocket at that time. But this year, we have a little bit of a heads up. The expiration is coming, and so I wrote up this resolution that solves the payment issue, and we would renew it for 5 years. So these are the 2 items on our consent agenda. If there are any objections to them, please do let me know.
Sorry, Mr. Chair, could I just ask a point of information?
Sure.
So the authorizing expenditure of up to $100, that's a lot for a domain registration. So I think you may have just answered it saying it was multi-year, but do you happen to know what the actual amount is? I support reauthorizing the website. It's a important thing to have. I'm just curious about the finances.
So it's about $10 a year. I'm gonna try to extend it for the longest period I can. But what I saw online was that the maximum is 5 years. I'm planning on emailing them to see if I can get it to 10 years because I know other registrars can do it for 10 years. So, that's why I said up to $100.
Got it. So it's $10 a year.
Yeah, roughly, about.
Okay, thank you so much. No further questions.
Okay.
Chair.
Thank you. Yeah, of course. Secretary Clem, go right ahead.
So the resolution is only about the domain name registration. It's not about web hosting. Wouldn't those they sort of go together? Usually you renew the web hosting for a year when you renew the domain for a year. Is our web hosting, when's that renewal?
So the hosting is, my understanding is the hosting is still done by our former developer of the site. So it's just the domain renewal. That's all. Mm-hmm.
Question?
Sure, Bowles.
So I know that this is something that every ANC commissioner always wants to tackle, is updating their website. Would this, how long is this going to be for? This would be for a year. So essentially, like, probably shouldn't update our website for a year. Is that what this essentially means? Or could we provide updates?
So the website can be updated at any time. This just renews our domain name. So that we have our domain for years. So we can update it tomorrow.
Okay, cool.
Next month, 2 years.
Awesome. Thanks for that.
Yep. Other questions? Okay, hearing none. I'll call to a vote on the consent agenda. All those in favor of, I'll move on that we adopt the consent agenda. All those in favor of said consent agenda, please indicate so by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any against? Any abstentions? All right, perfect. So moving on to our regular agenda. The first thing on the agenda is a letter of support for a BZA variance for the Festival Center at 1640 Columbia Road. Do we have somebody from the Festival Center on the line? Please dial *9.
I think that's probably Kyle.
Okay, there we go. Kyle. Well, Commissioner Gold, would you like to introduce the item?
Sure. I move that the ANC directs the chair to write a letter in support of a BZA variance for the Festival Center at 1640 Columbia Road.
Thank you, Commissioner Gold. And because this came out of committee unanimously, it does not need a second. So that's on the floor.
So all I'll say, and just to reiterate, the PZT committee unanimously supported this variance after a thorough presentation from the Festival Center team about their planned renovations. I know there are some folks here in the meeting that can answer questions from commissioners or community members that would certainly be welcomed.
Yes, we did have a great meeting with the PZT. Thank you again for making the time. We did reassemble the all-star squad that we had back then, and we do have the presentation handy to go through it and show you folks what the project has in store, what the Festival Center is hopefully going to become. If you can share, oh, you guys have the slides there. I was going to say, if you could share the control, or if my colleague Terry Averill, who's the architect for the project, who is also on, would probably be the best person to steer through the slides, but I can do it or you can do it, whatever's most convenient.
I think I already have it up, and
okay.
So we might as well run with this. And again, I think we're happy for a short presentation and to hear. I can move to any slide you'd like, or if commissioners immediately have questions. And pardon me, Chair Ronnie, for taking your role.
No. I'd like to run through these slides and then we can take some questions.
Okay, great. Well, I'll start off with introducing the team. We have tonight Bill Medford, who's the representative from the Festival Center, the owner. If you could allow him to be unmuted, and I would like him to start off and share a few words about the Festival Center itself, and then Shirley Bobert-Rumble, who's the owner rep and project manager for the site, will take you through the location and the property, and Terry Averill will talk you through the project itself. He's the architect. And then I also have my colleagues, Catherine Noonan and David Guest from Ballard Spar, in case you guys have any tricky legal questions. So if you want to advance the slide, Commissioner Gold, and then we can, I'll let Bill take over if he's plugged in.
Bill is there on the line. There we go. All right.
I was just going to say thank you to all the commissioners, especially Commissioner Arani, for allowing us to come before. And we are a community center that grew out of our relationship with Church of the Savior Faith Communities. We are Christian in our origin, but we serve people from all faiths and no faith, those who profess no religion at all. So we are truly a community center. We have lots of folks that rent space with us. Then we have lots of groups that meet at our place. And so we function a number of different ways for the community. And these renovations will help tremendously in us fulfilling our mission. Thank you.
So then I'll turn it over to Shirley if she's plugged in. There she is.
I think I am. I see my name up there, and I'll put on the video so you can see my face. I think that'll be a little bit easier as well. Good evening, everyone. I want to thank you, each of the commissioners, for extending this opportunity once again for us to present this project and the mission behind the project. Again, my name is Shirley Boubier-Rumble. I am the Senior Project Manager with USource. USource Construction is the design build contractor who'll be working with the Festival Center. We've been working hand in hand with them for, I think, close to a year now. And we focus on impact-oriented projects like the Festival Center. What we're seeing here is, I don't want to go through it in all the great detail. We've done this a few times before. So highlighting what's being proposed here, as you can see, this is the site plan of the building, currently located, for those of you who are familiar with the project, right on Columbia Road. It's also, the side street is Mozart Place Northwest, so it's really kind of in a corner of Mozart, and is a lot of street frontage. Most of the building faces Columbia Road. There's currently parking at the rear of the building, as you can see there behind the building. We are proposing to only work on the interior of the building. The exteriors are primarily remaining as is. If you go to the next slide, that's just a picture of the Columbia Road. If you can scroll down to the next one, you probably can see it. The picture below is the facade of the building. And then at the corner is Mozart in Columbia. I will let Kyle go into the actual variance, the details for the variance, but as you could see here on the site plan, it does cite exactly what's being requested. It cites the actual zone. And so with that being said, I don't know if you want to go to the next slide. We can just sort of keep it going in case, unless anybody has any questions regarding what's in front of them currently.
Commissioners, please feel free to raise your hand or interject.
I would note, I don't have a question, but for the commissioners who were unable to attend the PZT meeting or who may not have asked questions during that meeting, I think the main part of that might be of concern for the community is the exterior, which the third floor, right? Most of the work that's being done is interior, but there is. Let's see if I can find it here.
Yes.
This is the third floor, and I think this is what the building will end up looking like in the end.
If anybody would like, I can probably, Commissioner Gold, it might, Terry Averill, the architect for the project, it might be easy for me to kind of quickly go through what you just did. As in the slide that you're showing right now, it's showing the existing drawing on the left, and on the right, what we're doing is infilling that center section. There's a slightly newer glass area right where there's an existing metal roof. The height of the building is remaining the same. If we go back just a little bit, Commissioner Gold, we'll look at that showing from Mozart Street. On the left, you see it's kind of an angled building. That's why it's kind of a funky review. But we're hoping to add, since it's primarily about energy and upgrading the building and making it more ADA accessible, we're adding, in that case, awnings on the rear of the building. And the roof itself, we're completely, if we could go back. Yeah, that's an actual new roof existing on the right. You see kind of a darker line around what is the existing roof, including that turret, that round section on the right. We're adding solar panels when we add a new roof that extends out towards Mozart Place and towards the parking lot. And in that way, because we'll have one continuous roof, we can add a tremendous amount of an energy component to the roof itself. So that's if there's anything, I suppose, conflicting or contentious, it's that the roof is expanding towards the parking lot. And there's a new, if you go back just one slide from this one, that would kind of help on the third floor. Yes, what we're doing on the gray on the right and the gray on the left already exist on the third floor. There's a stairwell on the left and there's a section of existing offices on the right. What we're trying to do is infill where there's, as I said, a roof over on the top section, which faces Columbia Road. And we're just adding that section in between in order to get a flat roof. And then there's an outdoor area on the lower left corner, which is for conference. That's kind of the big, the crux of the program. And in order to kind of fund this kind of expansion on the third floor, what happened on the first floor is that we added about 1,000 square feet of a mezzanine because it's a very tall first floor. That would be back a number of different slides. It's right, that's the existing first floor, which is, there's a kitchen, and this is the newer first floor. And there's an art gallery that's near the front entrance. The entrance right over near that round area, we've added a vestibule for energy because there was none, and we've allowed it to be more ADA accessible. We've also made the bathroom shift. There's existing bathrooms over near what was a pretty unserviceable kitchen. And since the Festival Center has a lot of, they do a lot with what they expect to be this new kitchen, including meals for homeless. And then there's going to be somewhat of a culinary arts component, and then catering for larger events for a lot of these nonprofits that would occur in this space. In order to do that and upgrade the kitchen, we shifted all the bathrooms to underneath. There's a kind of a red line that represents that mezzanine I mentioned. It's, since we have a 16-foot first floor, we added an 8-foot component in there that then we put the bathrooms underneath that, which were kind of, we really wanted a gender neutral kind of situation where there would be 4 to 5 bathrooms that were independent, as opposed to what it was before, which was the traditional 3 stalls for male and 3 stalls for female. Those are the main kind of components. The middle floor really was, which is one slide further, Commissioner Gold, that's really just reorganizing a traditional, that's the mezzanine. And then the next slide would be the existing second floor, which is there, which is traditional office component. And then the next slide is how we plan to do that, which is more like a WeWork sort of situation where we have small computer desk areas, small offices, and where there's what we call the Wild Wild West area, which is the middle where everybody can gather in order to be able to share all the ideas from these smaller nonprofits, which is the hope of the Festival Center.
So thank you, Terry, for walking us through that. One question, if you could immediately answer, I noticed that it's not in this truncated slides, but I know, if I recall, there are 2 specific areas for which you needed a variance. So if you could just reiterate those to the commission and to the community, that would be awesome.
Yes, if you could go back to the third floor, it has to do with the FAR for the area, and Kyle can go into a little bit more.
I'll talk to it, Terry.
Great.
So the two aspects of the variance, area variance requested are the applicable zoning would limit the residential, non-residential gross floor area or floor area ratio at the building to 2.0, and this with the project would push the non-residential use to 2.3 FAR, which is a 15% increase. And then the existing third floor use, again, by applicable zoning, the third floor in this zone, in the MAU 5A zone, does not allow for third floor non-residential use, notwithstanding this building was built with and permitted and continues to be permitted for third floor use, but it would be a continuation and an expansion of that third floor use, non-residential use.
Thank you so much, Kyle.
Sure. And then we talked about the energy upgrades, and we talked about the sort of rationale behind the project, and Terry talked you through the specific floor by floor features. But if there are questions, I can just try and redirect as appropriate, from any of the commissioners or the audience. Happy to talk through any questions that might be out there. I haven't been following the chat if there was anything in there.
Chair Ronnie, back to you to lead this.
Thank you, Commissioner Gold. So I don't see any hands up, but if there's any questions, please dial *9 if you're dialing in, or just tap or click raise hand. I'll first hand it over to the commissioners. Any questions from our commissioners? Okay, seeing none. All right, I thought I saw a hand momentarily. Okay, commissioners, shall we call to a vote? So already on the floor, came out of the committee with a unanimous vote in support. So I move to a vote. All those in favor of the chair writing a letter of support for this variance, please indicate so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any against? Any abstentions? Okay. Thank you all for coming. Moving on to the next.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you. Thank you for your time.
Of course. Yeah. Thanks for the good work in our community.
Appreciate your support. And do you have a sense of timing as to when we would actually be in, see the support letter be filed? Our hearing is April 14th. And so that's plenty of time between now and then, but I don't know what your process is and how long that might take.
So after the meeting, I'll draft the letter and I'll send that along to you guys and the relevant parties and the Board of Zoning. So
great.
We'll be
appreciate your support.
Of course. Yeah. Thank you.
Thanks again for the opportunity.
So the next item on our agenda, and the last item on the agenda, is a resolution on the proposed FY22 WMATA operations. This has been a couple times through and also came out of PZT committee with unanimous support. So having said that, I want to hand it to the resolution's author, Treasurer Faulkner.
Thank you. So just the resolution, which I believe folks have seen, but basically outlines, how important Metro bus and Metro rail service is to our neighborhood. And as people may know, some of the cuts that WMATA is proposing are pretty drastic, including cutting some bus routes that go through our neighborhood, as well as reducing frequency on other bus routes and reducing frequency drastically on Metro. So I guess I will just mention that there were some changes in committee around language about a slight change to some language about cars, as well as in addition, specifically mentioning crosstown bus routes, including some routes that aren't directly in Adams Morgan, but that DCPS students use to get across town. So that is those are just some minor changes, in addition to the 96, which is a route that is slated to no longer go through Adams Morgan, based on the proposal from WMATA. So that is what the resolution is.
So commissioners, thank you, Treasurer Faulkner, for that brief summary. And commissioners, this is, as I said, it went out of committee unanimously. I move that we adopt this resolution. Do I have questions from commissioners?
Mr. Chair, I want to, if I may.
Please do.
So first of all, thank you, Commissioner Faulkner, immensely for your work on this. I just want to highlight some of the issues that Commissioner Faulkner raised so that the commissioners are aware. From discussion during the PZT committee, we changed the wording from the second paragraph. Initially it read, quote, including many who do not own, cannot afford, cannot and or choose not to use personal automobiles. And we changed that to say, as it is written now, to include many who cannot afford personal automobiles and many who choose transit instead of their personal vehicles. Other matters that I think we should raise that might at least need a vote or consideration versus that is not just necessarily a language change. Commissioner Faulkner mentioned, but I think that maybe we need to, it might require a formal amendment, a resolved clause on crosstown buses and DCPS bus service. So I move that we insert the following paragraph between the second and third resolved clause. And commissioners, in your view of the resolution, you can see this recommended change in green, but I'll read the resolved out loud for those who are in attendance. That is resolved that ANC 1C oppose the elimination of crosstown bus service to Tenleytown, including on the 96 and H2 lines, which run through Adams Morgan, as well as on the H4 line, and opposes the elimination of 16th Street Tenleytown bus lines, that is D31 to D34, which serve as school bus transportation for many DCPS students. Mr. Chair stepped away for a second, so
No, right back. So thank you, Commissioner Gold. There's a hand up, Commissioner Bowles, go right ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to commend Commissioner Faulkner for following through with this. Bus service means a lot to the folks that live in the neighborhood, but obviously the folks that work in the neighborhood too. So thanks for doing this. I think this is really important, and we're just joining the growing voices of other ANCs and neighborhood leaders asking for the same. So thanks so much.
Thank you, Commissioner Bowles. Commissioner Wood.
So, sorry, Mr. Chair, if we could at least have discussion on adding this resolved as well as the other clause so that we have the whole resolution in front of us, that would be great.
Yes, so this was an addition after the PZT meeting. So if Treasurer Faulkner is okay to accept that as a friendly, then
Yes, absolutely.
yeah, okay. So that's officially in there.
I'll accept it.
Thank you, Commissioners Faulkner and Gold. So Commissioner Wood, go right ahead.
Thanks. Just really briefly, kind of to reiterate what Japer said. I've had even groups outside of the neighborhood looking at us saying that we're a good example of how they want to move forward on doing similar things on pushing Romata or help supporting Romata so that it's in a good place. So good work, everyone.
Thank you, Commissioner Wood.
All right, I'll step in again, Mr. Chair, if no other commissioners have the floor.
Yeah, no, please do. I don't see any other questions from members of the public either.
So following feedback from my constituents in my SMD, I move to amend the second resolved paragraph. And again, this is something that commissioners can read as a recommended language by inserting that WMATA reconsider and the shift of the H2 line off the Harvard Street, which will require senior residents to walk uphill to Columbia Road.
I'm happy to accept that as a friendly.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Great. Was that, okay, so you're changing it right now in the resolution.
Correct. So now the resolution, as visible by the entire community, includes those two additions.
Perfect, perfect. Thank you for that. And are there any other amendments or discussion to the resolution? Amendments to the resolution or discussion of it? Okay. Questions from the community? Sammy, go right ahead.
Hi, I'm sorry. Hi. So I want to once again commend the ANC for representing the community on this resolution. I think it's a wonderful stepping stone in the right direction of making sure that everyone's voice is heard. Speaking of everyone's voice is heard, I asked a question in my last comment and it wasn't answered. It was actually glossed over. It's okay, Commissioner Clem actually answered that question, but to the chair, I just want to mention one important thing. When community members show up to these meetings, it's important to recognize their questions and not just move in the agenda. That's how a lot of our community members are feeling left out and silent. And that goes back to my original question of how we're going to be more open to these meetings to those members and those community members who don't have the resources to join these calls. So thank you so much to Commissioner Clem for recognizing my question, but to the chair, I would hope that this is a learning lesson for you to understand that when someone asks a question in a public meeting, that it be at least recognized before moving on to the agenda. Thank you.
Thank you, Sammy. As I was going to respond to your question, and I can see that Commissioner Wood has responded to it in the Q&A, and I was typing out a response, that for those that cannot attend via Zoom, there's also a dial-in option that we post on our website. It's very clearly posted at anc1c.org. Please feel free to dial in, whether if you do not have access to Zoom. Thank you for your comments. So other discussion about the resolution at hand. One other thing I'll say is that the mayor has extended the public health emergency through May 20th. So we will not be holding in-person meetings. We certainly will not be holding in-person meetings until at least that time.
Mr. Chair, the only thing I'll add, this is a fantastic resolution. And again, I commend Commissioner Faulkner for pushing the issue and for making sure that our community has a voice when WMATA is making its decisions. I think that should WMATA actually follow through with this plan, we will have to consider some other changes in our neighborhood that will make the bus service as proposed or as carried out more conducive to our neighborhood and to our neighbors. I think that some of the plans to use Adams Morgan as a transit stop on the Metro bus, if they actually come to fruition, we're going to need to think about that. Thank you.
Great. Okay, so seeing no other hands or questions, call to a vote. All those in favor of the resolution as discussed, please indicate so by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any against? Any abstentions? All right, 8-0. And that concludes our meeting for tonight. Thank you for attending. Thank you, commissioners. And thank you